let's get into the big topic of open source, something that we actually say at Red Hat.
We haven't
This is so
we
awesome.
are an open culture that believes
actually
in
a big
importance of
piece
What is that process that a developer, or let's say
as the Kubernetes ecosystem really boomed.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Ask an OpenShift admin. I am Jonny Rickard, and I'm joined by Jose Gomez-Saez from the Red Hat product marketing team. He's a Red Hat product manager on the observability team at Red Hat. Jose, do you want to go ahead and give a quick intro?
Thanks, Jonny. I'm very happy to be here. Actually, it was one of the first things I was preparing when I landed this job, like more than a year ago. I was taking a look at this, and I saw colleague PMs. In this case, it was Jamie Parker talking about logging, and I was like, "Oh my God, these guys do this!" And I'm here, right? So that's so cool. Very happy.
You made it. You made it. You're a celebrity now. No, I saw your live stream on OpenShift Commons. So it's like I see you're starting to make your way through the live streams. You know, that's good. I'm glad that you're doing OpenShift Commons. It's a great community to be a part of. And Karina is, I mean, she's freaking amazing. I don't know how she keeps it all together, but she does. She's incredible. So like, huge shout out to her and just running the OpenShift Commons program for Red Hat. Yeah. So today you may have noticed that Andrew's not here yet, but he will be, or he won't be. We're not sure yet. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know if he's probably got some work stuff going on, but like, yeah, we all get busy. So here we are. But yeah, today's topic is OpenTelemetry and why it's important. And I think that this is it's a good topic because we've been talking about observability. We've been talking about OpenShift AI. We talk about cluster management and all these things, right? And, you know, having a way to view or having an insight into our cluster and what's going on and you know, being able to do something with it it's important. So I'm glad we were able to get you guys on. You know, and we have a bunch of things that we're going to talk about over the course of time, you know, with Rickard and some of the other guys on your team, which I'm crazy excited about. Like I love doing these series because you just get to build up on these topics, and you know they for one, I'm a nerd. I love to learn. I love all this stuff, you know, and I'm just genuinely like interested in how it all works together, you know. So like I'm really looking forward to it. From a top of mind perspective, there's not a whole lot going on. I did want to give a shameless plug to the GitOps Guide to the Galaxy live stream from last week. We had Eric Fried on from the Hive team, and it was incredible, right? Like to see hosted control planes and what hosted control planes can do, and then to see Hive and what Hive can do, and then to think about how they can work together and really solve similar but different problems in similar but different ways. I think it's pretty awesome, and it really got the juices flowing on like ideas of how we could use, you know, hosted control planes and Hive together. Just selfishly from my team, right? Like how can we do this stuff in like provision clusters for RCI stuff? You know, and it's really got like the energy is high on this one. Like I'm really excited about it. And then there was one other thing, and I can't remember it now, but
yeah. Totally. I mean, these projects that inspire you, right? Like you just even take them for granted by the minute they tell you, and you start thinking about the next step. I mean, those things are amazing. It's
right. And I think one thing that Andrew and I always talk about, right, is like the evolution. You know, you go from 5 years ago to where we are today. And it's like, it's mind blowing how far along we've come, you know. I remember what my other announcement was, and it's the most important one. All right. Happy birthday, Jose.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's Jose's birthday, so everybody say happy birthday to Jose. You know, you made it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm older and older.
That's right. That's a positive though. Yeah. So this is the Ask OpenShift admin is part of the Red Hat Office Hours live stream series. We're here to answer your questions. So just like you, if you went to university or anything like that, and your professor held in office hours, it's the same idea, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be on topic, but you know, obviously we have an expert here to get answers if you did have something on topic. Otherwise, we'll do our best to answer it, and if we can't, then we'll reach out internally. That's the beautiful part about Red Hat, right? Is we have reach. So yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. We'll try and get them answered. But yeah, I'll turn it over to you, Jose. It's go time.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I really like just to comment on that. How open Red Hat folks are. like when I have any question or any, I just go to Slack and shout in some random forum, and then I get the answer, right? So that's great. That's something I love about this. Hey, so one thing I can start with, which might be going a bit ahead, but then we will come back. Is you mentioned that today is special, or it's special for me because it's my birthday, and I'm happy celebrating here with all of you. I can also share why today is also special, and it's because today we are releasing the new distributed tracing and Red Hat build of OpenTelemetry, which is the version 3.2. Tomorrow, the announcement will be out, so just hold your breath for a second. We scheduled it for tomorrow to avoid some last-minute race conditions, right? That's as usual. But on return, I'm here talking a lot. So just to say some, or to call out some of the things we are enabling, I will just use this graphic, right? Until today, you could only take OpenShift metrics just by a Prometheus or the in-cluster monitoring stack, right? Starting today, you would be able with some OpenShift support. Of course, this is technology preview for now, but it will be GA soon, we hope. You will be able to take Kubernetes metrics or OpenShift from the API, stats, events, the objects, and the host metrics. Right? We are enabling this just because our users asked for it, and we are taking it, working with the community, and adding it into our build. And we will talk in a second what is this thing of a build of OpenTelemetry, but it now with this is a great advance because you will be able to take all this information together with your application in OTLP protocol, the OpenTelemetry one, and then send it out, or even keep it in the cluster, which is pretty nice. And because observability is not only about the platform or only about the application, you need to know both. Right?
Mm-hmm.
To call out that part, that I have this speaker here or this microphone, better said. So I just wanted to call out this before we move on. So we're very happy about that one.
Yeah, this is awesome. Like this, it's been like I know that your team has been working on a lot of things, right? Like there's been like the evolution of logging and all that stuff, right? Like where you've gone from it used to just be like, oh, I'm gonna butcher this, right? Like it was like OpenShift logging, like Prometheus, Elasticsearch, and oh my God, there's one other part that I can't remember
Okay,
now.
so if you want to talk about the technologies or the signals, you have logs, metrics, and traces. And if you want to talk about the technologies, then that could be Prometheus for metrics, Loki to the storage for logs, or Tempo, the storage for traces. I don't know if you are going that way.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of like what OpenShift logging used to be, and then like the migration to Loki, and then go basically like the complete like breakaway from. It went from something to Loki, and I cannot remember what it was to save my life right now.
Yes. So it was Fluent
Fluent.
plus
That's what it was.
Elastic, and now the newest stack is Vector plus Loki.
Yes, that's okay. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's totally fine. Yeah, it's we are evolving, right? And we had the same changes in distributed tracing. Right? We come from, I can share. Oh no, I cannot share it because now it's deprecated, so I don't have it in my slide deck. But
Gotcha.
we were coming from a stack based on just Jaeger and Elastic, and now we are moving towards OpenTelemetry for distributed tracing and Tempo. So you would send your traces to OpenTelemetry, do some stuff to them, and then send them to the tempo to store them, right? So we are doing the same.
That's awesome.
So just maybe we can start. So if we're going to talk about why OpenTelemetry is important, maybe we can start discussing, or I can start explaining where this is coming from. So
Yeah.
I will share just to help me so I don't sidetrack a lot. So OpenTelemetry comes, or I'm not going to be very accurate maybe, but it could help to explain it easily, right? It comes from a merger of two projects that were there for distributed tracing that were widely used, OpenCensus and OpenTracing. And they said, hey, why shouldn't we do something together? And I know there's this meme, right, that says, let's create this standard because there are another 1,000 standards. So now we have 1,001 standards.
Yes.
Actually, I believe this is not the case, and I will make my case, right? And the community thinks the same, and you have some KPIs there that tell you that. One of them is this is the second most CNCF active project, right after Kubernetes. So that tells you something. Like everybody is in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be because I don't know, or you could argue some time ago, maybe not anymore, that hey, these are buzzwords, and then that's why there's a lot of hype and a lot of fear of missing out or whatnot. But the reality is that this is consolidating, it's growing, it's ever growing, and that's because every companies that even charge you to collect the observability data have understood that it's better to be open in that way and actually even influence where things go, because if you are out, then what can you do about it? Then you're alone, right? So everybody's kind of adopting, and this also comes, just imagine you are building a library, right? What would you choose to instrument it to say, hey, users of my library, this is the important metric you should check, or the important log to tell you that my library is working well or bad. These are also choosing OpenTelemetry to instrument them, right? So in the end, everything is kind of falling into the same place. And it aims to be a single technology, right, to handle collecting, processing, and exporting data. It doesn't mess up with how you store your data or how you visualize it. And this is where other vendors, even ourselves, try to provide you value. Like, okay, let's solve the collection and travel of the data, and then do it together, and then each of us will just have an interpretation, so to say. So that's why it's a huge project. It has many things, right? So it provides even an SDK. So as I was telling, if you are in C++, if you're in Java, whatever, right? You will have an SDK with libraries that you install them. And the cool part is that it's decoupled from the rest of the chain. What I mean by this is that, okay, because we get these questions a lot, like, now, what happens if this is the next or the new hype, right? And tomorrow we will have another. So I'm changing my code base, and tomorrow I need another one. This, by design, is covered because it's decoupled. So I would just instrument my code, and at the very edge of it, I will decide, okay, send it in the OpenTelemetry protocol, or you know what, send it to Prometheus, so it will be a script, or send the logs in this way or in this other one, right? So in that way, it's not that intrusive in the sense that it's easily maintainable, right? Let's put it that way. So that's one part. Then you have also the collector that is able to collect the data, right? Transform it and export it. And here is like where also everyone is contributing with a lot of components, and I can talk more on that as well. And we work as Red Hat with the community, not only in the like productizing some stuff, but also we have some folks maintaining the Java SDK or contributing to new parts of OpenTelemetry or auto instrumentation, Node.js, whatnot. Right? We are, as you know, we are all over the place all the time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what else? So it's when you had these many issues, right? Like that I was trying to say, and these are coming from customers, right? Like, okay, I have these many programming languages, or let me start over with the issues that you have on the left. OpenTelemetry tries to provide some answers on the right? Like, hey, I have many programming languages in my code base. We have these huge applications because we were lied. We were told that Kubernetes was or distributed systems were very easy. And now what do we do? That we get that a lot. And then OpenTelemetry provides SDK for all of them, right? So it's like, okay, it kind of helps everybody there. And also like, hey, I have this stack that is for this signal, but I need to install this other stack, for instance, right? I have to install all these things and maintain them for logging. I have all of these for traces. I have all of these for metric, and more to come. Well, OpenTelemetry tries to say, why don't we just standardize over all of them, and we call them, and we provide a protocol, so we can talk all of us in the same language, and we can easily jump from one to the other, right? That's one part. Also, this protocol is not that closed. Like it doesn't have. It has, of course, a schema and everything, but it's extensible. So it's like, hey, I have this legacy code, and how do I put it in this modern thing, right? Well, you can just. It's extensible, so you can define your own stuff, right? So it tells you, for instance, let's agree, or it's been agreed already, right? Let's agree from all of us what nice observability for a HTTP request looks like. Like, okay, we need the status code, and we will write it in this way. We need, I don't know, to write here some headers, whatnot, right? And then those are given, and they are included in the SDKs, they are included in everywhere, right? But then you can extend them, right? So you can add your own fields that are important to you, to your application, and maybe they are also part of the legacy stack. So you shouldn't be forced to just use modern stuff if you don't have to. So that's kind of cool. And then
it is cool.
It is, and yeah. So and also if you have, there's also always an issue with the cost of observability, right? We all that have been writing code or are still like, okay, I will put here a lot of logs or a lot of metrics, traces, because I need this information for when you call me on Saturday evening, I have it and I can solve it. But that's expensive, right? And maybe today you are happy with one solution, but tomorrow you want to change. And so OpenTelemetry gives you this ability to say, okay, makes the market more competitive, I would say. Or maybe this is a long shot, but I feel it that way. Like tomorrow I pay these guys to solve this problem, but tomorrow I can change, and I don't have like all the roots all over the place in my code. And so that's another value as well.
Yeah, and that's important, right? Because we do change vendors, right? There are times when our contract is up, we're not, maybe they don't meet security requirements anymore, whatever it is, right? Whatever the reason is. And sometimes we have to make a change. Maybe there's just something a little bit better, right? And it has a feature that we really love. And so we want to switch to that without having to do all the freaking rework on the back end to make it all work, right?
100%. And don't get me wrong, right? This is also taken as an advantage by every vendor as well, right? Like, you know what, you're not locked in, so give it a try, right? And then you can ease customers using your solutions as well.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a two-way street, I would say. That's kind of cool. So
well, and I like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was gonna say I like that you've kept the the vintage software acceptance in there, where it's like, because we deal with customers all the time that they just can't move from a platform, right? So they're stuck on something. They're stuck on an application that's going to be around forever, just because it's unfortunately antiquated, but they can't migrate from it because there's not a newer solution for it. So having the ability to have the same feature set that we're using today for all of our other applications for that antiquated app is pretty nice.
Yeah, and even doing it iteratively, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a drama change something from one day to
Oh,
another, or having a day to say, okay, we switch this off and this one on. But this also provides the ability, or this is thought in a way that there are a lot of lessons learned behind. I kind of feel that, to say, okay, you know what? Let's just to put the example of Prometheus and OpenTelemetry. By the way, Prometheus said some weeks ago, shared a commitment to be able to ingest OTLP, the protocol, OpenTelemetry protocol signals.
nice.
That's very cool. That's, by the way, Victoria Metrics, which is this huge. It's sometimes it can be seen as a replacement for Prometheus. It's another technology that helps you with the backend, and they are also expanding to login. They did a lot of work to have OTLP, right? And they shared a while ago that it was a lot of work. It was not pretty, but everybody's doing it. That's the point, right? So it helps. So if you don't have, let's put it this way, I have a Prometheus. I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you telling me to instrument OpenTelemetry? Like why? It doesn't make sense. And they are right, totally. What they can do. So what I wanted to say, sorry for the digression, is that
You're good.
OpenTelemetry is contributed by everyone, and it helps in this way, saying, okay, let me scrape those Prometheus metrics. I will scrape them, and then I can send them to both your legacy stack and a new stack that maybe you want, or not legacy. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, to this very well suited stack that you maintain there. But at the same time, I want to check this nice dashboard somewhere else where I send all the data. You can do both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I meant by maybe iteratively or coexisting solutions. So it's not like trying to replace everything. It's like more helping to put more things on top. Right?
Yeah, it's not a hard break, right? It's definitely like it's enhancing a service, right?
Yep.
That you said something a second ago, and I'm dang. I had a question about something you said a second ago, and now I can't think of it. Oh, so right now, OpenTelemetry, right? Like, is this like from Red Hat? Are we doing like a SaaS, like a OpenTelemetry as a service type thing, or is it like an operator we install on the cluster, or is it both, or?
That's a great question, because normally in when we talk about observability, there's a lot into it. Like you can think of as a SaaS, like, okay, we send everything here, and then we will manage it for you, or just instrumenting your code. So and everything in between. So no, we are not providing any service in that direction. We are working with the platform, right? So as we provide OpenShift, we provide also a set of operators and give support to them, right? So at the same as we do with, for example, distributed tracing, we provide a backend that users need to deploy and manage, but we give support. The same goes for OpenTelemetry. For OpenTelemetry, we provide builds that are opinionated, that have that we have tested, that we ensure they meet some security needs and all of that. and then users just use them as Lego blocks to, in the end, build the story. And because we're focused in the platform, right? That's what we think we know how to do, right? The platform itself.
Yeah, well, you know it well, right? So do what you do well.
Yeah, I believe that. And the nice, how I see OpenTelemetry being key for the platform, right? And we are having these discussions today, and everyone is, by the way, if you go to Google Cloud, Azure, IBM, everyone are having these discussions, and where these builds that we offer are providing a good cornerstone is in integrating. Right? So you could say, okay, let's use this collector or this instrumentation, and all the pipelines are connected. And then we just say, okay, now you can define how to send this data here or there or there. And then we're done. We helped you from the platform. And then if tomorrow, and of course, we also aim in parallel to provide great analytics, great user interface, user experience, all of that. But we believe that this is an open ecosystem, and our users need to have the choice, right? So we have all of we try to cover those two use cases, right? Ourselves, our added value, but also playing with the rest of the kids.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could just, if Hillary was here right now, I'd probably see her SRE ears just like just going crazy. Because she talks about this stuff all the time, right? About like, okay, if there's something up with the platform, how do I know? When do I know? And you just said something that triggered I think my question from before too, was like the integration. Do you see like, I guess in my mind, in a simpleton point of view, right? Like I'm like, okay, if we're doing this, so that means that like as we Red Hat, right, the royal we, as Red Hat's developing a new operator, developing a service, a Quay, a Hive, hosted control, whatever it is, right? Are they, when they're spinning those services up, are they creating those integrations back to OpenTelemetry, where it's that connection from the platform to maybe that layered application, that layered operator, it's really just like a, oh hey look, I want to do this, and it's there, the pipeline, I guess, is that maybe what you call it?
It depends. Normally, as you know, there are many open source projects. So what I find is that normally these things are implemented in the open source project itself. Just put Quarkus or .NET. I'm having some conversations with with a great colleague also to help this integration. So they are saying, okay, hey, we are providing this framework as Quarkus, right? And wouldn't it be great to produce some telemetry that is opinionated by us, so our users can understand when things go well or wrong, and they don't need to instrument the code by themselves. So they do it, and then we talk. Hey guys, how do we talk to each other? Are you deploying what? Yeah, we deploy the OpenTelemetry collector. Ah, cool. And then we build. And it's actually my job. It's becoming my job very soon to ease these integrations. So I'm actually thinking on, hey, what can we provide to our users? So any user feedback here it's very valuable. For instance, what I'm thinking today, and I'm also looking at other partners, how they are doing it, right? So it's another thing is, okay, if you're using this kind of application, we might already know which kind of dashboard you would be interested in having. So maybe we can install it for you. So when you use it, you get it out of the box and you don't need to think about it. And then you can see which metrics are there, so they are important, you could use them or not, just to put an example, right? But the integrations world is huge.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking, even this morning, right? As you know, you can install OpenShift everywhere. So it's not only about exposing our opinionated signals that, hey, if you want to check how good or bad is an OpenShift cluster performing, you need to understand this. So one way of thinking of this is just exposing them. But the other way around is, hey, if the other way to look at it is if OpenShift is running on AWS, I want access to those metrics altogether as well. So maybe I want to see them in OpenShift. So it's like back and forth.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just sitting there talking to you, I'm thinking about like, okay, like I think one thing you said a second ago, right? Like, how do I make it? Like, oh, I just installed something. How do I just enable it? Now it's there, right? Because it's a known, right? Like I'm using Node, right? So it's oh, I've got a Node application. I know I'm going to want to see these things. Okay, cool. Here we go. That type of
But
thing. Like I'm just saying, like you install an operator and then like you go in and like kind of like in Grafana where you click down like oh I want this dashboard for this like this depth of the network traffic or whatever and you do it and it gives you this nice little dashboard and all that like I don't know crazy. I'm
exactly.
sure it's insane.
Yeah, it is like that. And actually, if you allow me to maybe advocate for a second for distributed tracing, which is let's say
Do it.
my other child here, it helps a lot for that, right? Or at least I believe it. Let me check. Let me find. Yeah, let me. I will share this one. Um, um, better in presenter view, and now there we go.
All right. Boom.
So when we were talking about distributed system and everything, I get this a lot. Prior to this role I have now as a PM, I was tech lead at as another company. Like we were a lot of engineers, and when we moved from the monolith from to the to Kubernetes in this case, there was a lot of noise, right? And this
Oh
is where
yeah.
modern observability starts, right? Because in the good old days, right? You could say, okay, I will just add some logs here and there. This is the first thing we learn to do as programmers is just basic observability, which is just add a log. Hello world. It's like, hey, I did something and I can see it. This is telling me that my program is running. Right? So it's like our first words, right? Or the first thing we do as programmers. And we get used to that, right? And if you had an issue in production, you could just put a bunch of people in a war room and say, okay, what's going on? And then with some logs, you could survive. However, in distributed systems, and this is what you were saying, you will have a request going like, okay, I have all this, and this is a very simple system, that the one that I'm presenting. Say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you have some JavaScript for front end or whatnot, and then I have other microservices written in Go because Go is cool, so let's have this microservice, and then but some old ones that came in Java and hey C++ because we have this nerd guy who loves C++. By the way, I love C++. That's the only
There's
thing
always
I know how
one.
to write.
There's always one.
There's always one. But then to talk with the database and so on, right? So, and then you have all of this, and it's like, okay, and then how do I observe what's going on in my cluster? How do I know? Because this was what happened to us. How do I know? Why on earth are these 10 requests failing out of these 1,000 I process per second?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot. If you do OC logs, you will it will just blow up, right?
Yes.
And then you would say AI. I will just put AI here, and then you hit download. Then we like to advocate for something more modern, and this is where modern observability comes. So here is something to tell you where is the issue. It's not only about what's the issue, but you need to identify where is it so you can fix it, right? So that's where distributed tracing comes to help, and this is why the advocacy I'm doing. So let's do an exercise if you are up to it.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay, so I don't know. There's this TV series that at least in where I live, I'm from Spain. In Netflix, it's been popular lately, which is called I don't know if you've seen it, like the 3 something problem.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is the three dog problem. It's not the three body problem, which is the original, but this one is. And I'm taking this example from what I saw in. I saw some random tweet talking about AI, and I took this idea. I think this is like distributed tracing. So let's take it. So if I ask you, hey, I took a picture of a dog. Can you tell me what this dog is doing? Is it jumping? Is it I don't know? Is it running? Is it sitting?
Hmm.
What do you think? What
It's
do you
laying
think
down
this
to
dog
me.
is? It's laying down. Okay, cool. That's fair enough. And then I take a picture from another dog and ask you, hey, what is this dog doing? What would you think?
He's standing.
Okay, I would agree, right? And then if I ask you what this dog is doing, we could maybe say, well, it's sad.
Yeah.
But or maybe we don't know, right? Maybe
This
laying
dog is
down.
upset.
Yeah, it's upset. Okay. The thing with distributed systems is that when you focus on one of them, you don't get the full picture. So this dog is broken, I would say. Maybe it's right. So this is what distributed tracing tries to help. Right? It's not if when you focus on some, you will not get that far in distributed systems. Right? And by the way, no dogs were harmed here.
Yes.
So this is just an example of why distributed tracing is important, because I get it a lot. Like, I already have logs, or I just have a couple of alarms. Why do I need this? Well, I mean, first of all, if you're fine, you're fine. Don't try to put a lot of code or technologies into your code base. But
Yeah.
it will help for this kind of cases, right? And yeah, I will not deep dive into the technology itself unless someone asks for it, right? I will
Well,
stop.
so I guess is this part of distributed tracing, is it separate from like Jaeger, the Jaeger project, and what they're doing with distributed tracing, or is it the same thing?
Question. If let me go to the architecture maybe.
And I guess before you answer that too, right? Like today we have distributed tracing with OpenTelemetry and stuff like that, right? That gives us this nice picture. And I love the dog thing, right? Because it that gives you the okay, you're right. Looking at these individual pieces, like they're just individual pieces, but you don't really see everything. But like yesterday, right before OpenTelemetry and the project that you're working on with distributed tracing, like really we only had like service mesh, right? Where it had to be part of the mesh so you could visualize it. And then you also had to have like Jaeger and Kiali and all these other Istio, right, to be able to see like the network traffic flowing and the services talking to each other. So it sounds like this is kind of like consolidating a lot of those services without having to have a mesh, but it's also giving you the same like visualization capability. Is that right? Am I thinking about this the right way?
This is um, this is great because just let me. I will stop sharing for a second. This is great that you mentioned, because I'm doing a talk, a conference from time to time with a colleague called Israel Blancas. So hi Israel, in which we normally try to put these two concepts together. Because I even got from a customer, so this distributed tracing thing, is that the service mesh or what is that, right?
Hmm.
And we get that a lot. I believe that's because there is a team here at Red Hat that were contributing a lot, or even creating it, this project, Kiali.
Hmm.
And Kiali wanted to provide a very easy way to manage the service mesh, because the service mesh can be very complicated.
100%. Yeah.
So they understood, okay, we need modern observability here. So they started producing spans and traces. And that's why when we think about distributed tracing, the service mesh pops up saying, okay, is this thing? Because you can enable it in the service mesh. So that's one of the first contacts we can have sometimes with distributed tracing. I install mesh, I get Jaeger, right? And so Jaeger is this open source project that was created at Uber, I believe. I'm so I get so nervous to say something that is very wrong. So please forgive me if I mess up. But I think it was a project created at Uber, and it was just for this. Right? They understood we need something to track a request traveling, and this is based on context propagation actually. So that's what helps you, right? Is the ability to check all the dog, right? It's like, okay, I get this context and I throw it to the next one and I throw it to the next one. And then at the end, I can reconstruct the whole picture and then I can check where things are good and where things are bad. So what has this to be with Jaeger and all that? The Jaeger has been historically one of the most famous project for tracing, right? As you, if you think of metrics, you would say Prometheus. If you think of traces, you would say Jaeger. That's like
100%. Yeah.
That's just like that, right? So Jaeger also provides some capabilities. It helps you with agents. It helps you with a backend. It helps you with a UI. And the UI, again, because it's the user interface, it's like what, when you think of tracing, you would think of the Jaeger UI. Like, okay, this is what I will say. And that's why we are still shipping it. So when you install Tempo, we are with our operator, you will get the Jaeger user interface on top. You will get it, right? So you will not change the way to handle things that if you are used to them. So I know I'm digressing a lot, so feel free to tell. No, I was asking you that because I know I'm.
No. This is good because I'm genuinely interested. So yeah, keep going.
So now, as OpenTelemetry was created as let's say a unifying effort to provide something that is common, then Jaeger started to also, or the Jaeger backend, to be able to understand OpenTelemetry, and then these things are evolving. Let's put it that way. And that's the role it plays. So today, if you want to watch the dog, right? What's the architecture you need? You would install an OpenTelemetry collector, and then you will say, hey, service mesh, or hey, application, or hey, whatever, send your spans, which are, maybe I should have started there, but you will produce, give me a second. Yeah, sorry, I'm all over the place today, but it's my birthday,
Good.
so you can you need to excuse me.
Happy birthday, Jose! Happy birthday.
Thanks. Let me start here. Tracing one-on-one. So we know how to log. We know that. We just throw something, some message. Okay, let's talk about some concept that is just a bit more elaborated. Let's do a structured log, so a log that needs to have a structure, and it needs to represent an operation that happens in time, right? So we have the time dimension, right? So this operation, I called the database and it took this time, and now I get my response. So this is an operation, right? That's it. So it's a structured log with some arguments that we will get there that represent an operation over time, and we call it a span. Okay. Now, if it's about and how all of this is entangled. If we talk about OpenTelemetry and an operation that is for HTTP requests, then one of these or some of these attributes that are in the standard will be maybe some status code, a method, right, and some custom attribute that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just to say that we can expand them. This thing that they are structured doesn't mean that they are closed. They are
Right.
open so we can throw stuff. So we have time dimension. Cool. Then, and also events. Sorry for that. Events are also very important. A span can have events. And what is an event? They are our beloved logs. Like, hey, Jose was here, right? This is what we like to write to debug, right? And so we can add those events to a span. Okay, so we have a span. Now, if you remember our distributed application and we have some functions that are calling each other, we just need to have some relationships between spans. So a distributed trace is just a bunch of spans that belong to the same trace, and that's why it's called a trace ID. And it has a unique identifier, and then it helps you to plot these nice Gantt charts, as they are called, which is just a representation of what happened to your request. So your requests were traveling, and then there was a mistake, and I just see here 500 at the outgoing answer. Here you can check, okay, I have one span here, and I know that this function called this other one, and this other one, and this other service, blah, blah, blah. And then I see an error because I have an event telling me that there was an error when I was calling the database. So it was actually the C++ guy who messed up, and then we need to call him to fix it.
Always.
But it will take some time to compile, of course. So so this is tracing. And thank you for giving me a stage to advocate for tracing, because I think it's needed. This is modern observability. You don't have it without distributed tracing. So I wanted to call that out.
Yeah, so, no, this is awesome. So then, so do you see? No, that's fine. No, it's what we're here for. You know, I guess my next question is like, so you have the mesh, and that really monitors everything that's in the mesh, and then you have OpenTelemetry and distributed tracing within OpenTelemetry. Now, is it the idea? It sounds like that would be like you'd have your observability stack. You just dump everything from your mesh into the OpenTelemetry, right, through a collector, and then everything that's outside of the mesh that's existing would also dump out to your observability stack, right? So then that way you still have a centralized, set of infrastructure for all of this, right? For all your telemetry things coming in, for all of your logging, like just basically like you don't have a bunch of different systems all over the place or a bunch of different platforms all over the place doing things. You're still dumping everything out to one place and then getting that feedback from a central location, right? Is that really the goal?
Exactly. And
Okay.
and there is and if the nice thing is that it also helps you to get started, right? If we're talking about the mesh, and it gives you some spans out of the box, like, because the mesh knows, as you were saying, hey, the mesh is everywhere, the mesh is everywhere. So it's like, okay, I receive a request, and then you did something with that, and then I receive the response, and then I throw it out, right? If we are talking about a sidecar model, right? I will not jump into ambient mesh because I don't know a lot about that. But that's it, correct. The only thing you need to take into account is context propagation, because, and I will share again. Give me a second. There we go. So what will, as I was saying, what will the mesh do, right? It will receive a request. Then it will inject some headers saying, well, with the span, generating the spans, right? And then it will forward them to the application. So what's the deal, or what you need to do? Just imagine. So here we have in this model of proxies, of sidecars, and applications. you have a proxy sidecar, an application, and then this one will talk again with another proxy sidecar for another application and so forth. Right? So if the service mesh receives a context, the trace, hey, this request is coming with this trace ID, right? With this package. Then it propagates that to the application. But if you don't do anything with that, then it will not propagate. The next proxy sidecar will say, aha, this is a new request. So this has no history behind. Then I will create a new context. So then you will have disconnected bits. You will not have a distributed trace. But this is not as awful as one could think, because you already have a lot of information. You can paint, and this is what Kiali does. You can paint a distribution, right? Sorry, a map of all your services. You can paint them because you have that information. The mesh is creating that for you. So by creating you already have a lot of information. You can understand if some services are slower than others because you are generating information in the sidecars. So it doesn't give you the whole story if you don't instrument your code, but it gives you a lot already. So this is the story. So that's why it's pretty nice. The story with the mesh and the integration and all of that it's awesome.
I wish, so I have this thing that I've been working on. I basically stole it from Stylus. It's the travel portal that Kiali does as part of their demo. I wish I had that thing going right now. Like I had it up last night and I tore it down, but it's just what you're talking about, where you look in Kiali's dashboard and you can see the services and you can you can break it, right? And you can see like, oh, hey, this went from green to red and stuff like that. So, but just to show the visualization that you're talking about, because it is very, very cool.
Yeah, and I was very happy when I joined, when I learned that Kiali was done at Red Hat. So the team is here. Like for me, they were rock stars, right? Like, yeah, let me talk to them. This is so cool. So
that's awesome. So you've got the release coming out, right? You've got, well, I mean, the official announcement's tomorrow, but magic is happening. So like, what's next, right? Like, what's the stuff that you can talk about, right? Obviously, if you got embargo things, but like, what's the next big things that you guys are working on?
So one thing that is coming now that we are just working on that. Tomorrow I have a meeting with some colleagues to kick it off. Is integrations, helping, or we are already helping, but maybe helping in a more structured way to integrate everything we can. I have a lot of feedback from customers saying, or pretty, let's say, clear demands saying, guys, help me do this, right? And I'm taking note. That's my job to take note of those things. So that's one part. We are also one of the strategic, and this is very public, right? Red Hat wants to be, or we want to be, and I believe we are achieving that, the AI and Edge platform, right? So for Edge, we are working with customers, and it's so nice because they went to Commons to tell their use cases. We are working with them to enable the Edge story and the AI stories, right? So anything they need, right? For me, they take priority. So we are building these pieces that help. For example, we were thinking, hey, we need, just to put I think it's a good illustrative example. Hey, we would like to get this taking the OpenTelemetry signals and sending them out or our Prometheus, or that's cool, but we would like to save them in a file. Can you do that? Right? And we said, okay, that's good. And yesterday I was having the same conversation with an internal colleague. They wanted to do that. And say, okay, and then we checked at the community, or actually the customer tool. We saw this component that is alpha, right? That is just starting. We saw it at the contrib project. This is as this is a huge project, the OpenTelemetry, it has a lot of moving parts, and so we saw it there. And then so the customer told us there is this thing in the OpenTelemetry ecosystem that we would like to have. So tomorrow, with engineering team, we will take a look at that and see if we can advance it to a more stable pace, and then include it in our build, right? So this is enabling edge. Just to summary of that, enabling edge is something that is crucial for us. And also we're also helping the multi-cluster story and integration. Another cool thing that I'm very, very happy, and I want to give or say kudos to the UI team, the user interface team, and Vanessa, the product manager, especially Vanessa Martini, is that we are having for the first time distributed tracing in the OpenShift console. This is happening very soon, very, very soon.
Yes.
So it will be step by step, right? It will not have come with everything enabled, but just a small bubble chart that shows you all the traces and everything with the process technology. It's very exciting, right? So this is something I nearly missed to say, and I'm happy I remember, because I'm very happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the edge stories, it's huge, right? Like I think that as you're saying that, like the thoughts, everything's AI, unfortunately, right now for like my mind, right? Like everything kind of like shifts back to AI. But you think about, like, you have file based, like I dump everything out to a file. Now it's something I could take that back and process it, maybe train on it, right? And then start understanding things. And it's like, okay, hey, look, I'm seeing this quite a bit. This usually means this, and then now you've got this ML ops kind of OpenTelemetry type workflow, back and forth, where it's like, okay, cool. Hey, look, I've got stuff I'm collecting, dumping down to a file. I'm learning on it, or I'm training on it, and then I'm able to do something with it next time, right? And then I don't know. It seems like it's a good idea. It seems like there's something there.
100%. I actually, these models will work better if you want to do something real and meaningful, not just some, I think OpenTelemetry can play a great role, because it's all about at least when I was studying some machine learning and some stuff, I learned that having consistent data, that you don't need to clean a lot, you don't need a human going and say, okay, this row I don't like it, this column I will blah blah.
This crap,
having unified data gets you very far, right? In contrast with, okay, I have these logs that I collected from this old application, and I have this cool stuff coming from the mess and this other thing, and then how do you put it together and train a model, right? So OpenTelemetry can play a role there, right? I agree.
Yeah, I can see it. Like I don't know how to put it together, right? But like you mentioned earlier, my favorite thing to say is Legos, right? Because everything is Legos. If we can just get them down into these blocks that we can build from, like it makes it approachable from our customers. It makes it approachable from our consulting and engineering staff, right? Like people that use it, it makes it like just that much easier. So it's like right now with OpenTelemetry, it's like we've got all these Legos. It's just trying to figure out how to put them together, and like how do we build a Batmobile from this, right? Like that's pretty much how my mind works.
I do agree. You got me. You convinced me.
So like we're up on the top of the hour, Jose. So I want to give you a chance to, if you have any final thoughts or final words that you want to say.
That was fast. I would say I think we are very grateful to the OpenTelemetry community. This is something, and we, of course, we love to give back to it, but really, I would use this stage to thank like everybody contributing to the project, because it's helping everyone, right? That's so great, and also we are enabling some parts all the time, every release, right? We are trying to be very open with this. In tech preview, this means like a contract, right? Hey guys, you test it, you give us feedback, we improve, right? But this is a project that evolves a lot. So if I had something to ask is, if you're using your OpenShift, reach back to us if you're using OpenTelemetry and give feedback, because this will help us a lot. So yeah.
Well, so when you're asking for feedback, do you want it through like a Jira issue or through the OpenTelemetry GitHub, or like where do you want that feedback at? Like, where does it make sense for
Yeah,
you?
anything will do. Anything will do. I know we have at OpenShift, there is some dialogue to provide feedback that works as well, or even contact your solution architect that you have at hand, or Tam or whoever. Any
Gotcha.
kind of feedback works. I would say.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. And awesome shout out to the OpenTelemetry community. That's hopefully we do that a lot, but like definitely glad that like, we're giving a shout out to them because yeah, it's without the community and the community support, right? It makes it almost impossible, right? I mean, it's virtually
100%.
impossible. So yeah.
100%.
And Shripad, I see your question here. So OpenShift, it with the like a layered operator like a hosted control plane or something like a Hive or even an advanced cluster management for Kubernetes ACM. Yes, you can orchestrate cluster deployments. With other layered operators, you can do things like clusters as a service. You can do, like templated clusters where you deploy a cluster and it's got like an application on it already. So maybe you have a Helm chart or a customized application, something like that you can deploy, and all that stuff is already kind of there. So there are ways to do it. I'd say out of the box though, it's basically like use OpenShift install, or you can, if you're using a cloud provider, we have Rosa, which is Red Hat OpenShift on AWS, and then we have ARO, which is Azure Red Hat OpenShift. I don't know if we have a Google one. I'd have to check. If we do, I really don't even know the name, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, and Jose, dude, thank you so much, man. Like I know you're busy. It's probably late where you're at, so thank you for your time. This has been really enlightening for me, so I'm glad we had you on.
I mean, as I said, right, for me, I'm very happy to be here. That was something, one of the first things I was looking after when I came to Red Hat, so it's great. So yeah, I mean, really, thanks for having me, and I'm sure that my colleagues that will talk more about observability in the next episodes, they are going to be, those are going to be very interesting talks as well.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to have you back, man. So like, don't feel like this is the last time you have to be here. Like, we'd love to have you come on and do some more stuff and talk about some other. It did go quick. Like, I felt like this was really awesome.
That'd be great.
Let's see here. I'm just checking questions really quick.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, rhope9. We did Hive last week. It was awesome. Eric Fried did an awesome job. So for everybody else, if you want to ask questions, and you can either shoot me an email, Jonny@redhat.com, Jonny@redhat, or Andrew Sullivan, my co-host. He's Sully@redhat.com, so SULLY@redhat.com. Or you can hit us up on the Kubernetes Slack, which I'm sharing the link here. If you don't have a Kubernetes Slack, you can sign up here, and we're in the OpenShift users forum, workspace, whatever it's called in Slack. It's us and like 3,000 Red Hatters and other people, right? So like if you ask a question, it's very much like Jose was saying earlier. You ask a question, you're going to get an answer. It may not be the answer you want, but you're going to get an answer. Or like the other thing that we talked about earlier is OpenShift Commons. It's an awesome community. Karina does an outstanding job of keeping this stuff together. I truly like Andrew and I do this, and it's a lot. For her to do OpenShift Commons and actually go and do stuff at places like I don't know how she does it, but I'm glad she's there because I don't think it would be what it is without her. So Karina's awesome. So yeah, join OpenShift Commons, and we're there. And then Jose, I just wanted to say thanks again, man. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to your team, for the patience. I know like there's some scheduling conflicts and stuff like that with Andrew and I kind of bouncing around. So I'm glad it worked out. And I'm looking forward to having the rest of the team on over the course of the summer and really kind of like diving deeper into observability. So thank you again. And to everybody else, we'll see you later. If you have any questions, feel free to email us or hit us up in chat. Catch you later.